What's up, and welcome back to the Kinda Funny screencast. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes, and I'm joined by the Big Daddy Greg Miller.
Woo woo!
The producer/seducer Nick Scarpino.
Top of the evening to you, Tim.
And both Jay and Silent Bob, Kevin Coelho.
What's up, dude?
Kevin, this look is your final form. You need to never move away from it.
It's good for now. It's good for now, you know?
Not being around Kevin every day, right? Not like I only see him through Discord. I would have no idea his hair was this long.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, when's the last time you cut your hair?
It was right before COVID. My plan was to grow it out and then cut it when everything got back to normal. It sounds stupid now when I say it out loud.
What's the plan now? You think you're just gonna ride out?
Not cut it. You need to keep it at this length or longer. And I'm loving the oversized PlayStation sweatshirt. It is very on trend right now.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep it for at least the time being. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get back to the studio, have Andy cut it for some sort of stream.
Mullet.
Don't stay on it.
If you want to support mullets, you got to stay right here on YouTubeTV.com. No, what am I talking about? YouTube.com/KindaFunny. Or you can go to RoosterTeeth.com. You can watch it there. If you wanted it as a podcast, just search your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Screencast, and we'll be right there for you. I was thinking TV because I was going to say this is the Screencast, where each and every week we get together to talk about the latest in TV and movies, movie trailers, all of that stuff. Of course, if you wanted to be a Patreon producer, you got to go to patreon.com/KindaFunny, just like Gordon McGuire, Molecule, and at James Davis Makes have done. We appreciate you all so very, very much. They get this show ad-free, and that's very cool because they don't need to hear the ads for Chime and ExpressVPN that we're going to tell you all about later. If you want to write into the show, you got to go to kindafunny.com/screencast to write in your theories, your questions, your thoughts on all the different entertainment that we are consuming. But today we're talking about the penultimate episode of Peacemaker. Season 1. Maybe there'll be a season 2. Maybe James Gunn's working on another show. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he was talking about how the show's doing extremely well. It's being received very well critically, and people are watching, tuning in HBO Max, making that money, all of that stuff. So he's saying that he's pretty like a sequel series is on him, and he wants it to happen. So at this point, it's like essentially greenlit if he has an idea. And he was saying it probably won't be Peacemaker 2, but it might be another character from the Suicide
Judo
Squad.
Kid.
Man. Polka Dot Man. They got to figure out a way.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Judo Master, Greg. Have some
apologize.
respect.
Thank you. You're right. I was thinking
Judo Master would be
I get confused
incredible
because he looks like his outfit looks like the detachable kid. Remember Nathan Fillion from Suicide Squad? So when I saw it in previews, I thought, oh, that's who he's going to be.
This is extraordinarily good news for me right now, Tim, because I love this series and I'm really hoping they can continue it. And I think that he's been so creative with it up until this point that really sky's the limit. They got to do it. They got to do a second season for this. It's too good.
Yeah. Let's start with you, Nick. What'd you think of this episode?
Great. I think this was a good one. I think that I didn't see some of the stuff coming in this that was happening. I forget. Are we spoiler free at the beginning of these, or do we just go for
we're all in?
Him killing his dad at the end. Well, first off, I owe John Cena an apology. Okay, and I'm a man of my word here. I'm a man of my word. When I'm wrong,
Kevin, give him the one, and then Nick from the top. You can apologize to John Cena. Hold on. You can see the preview.
Hold on. We'll
that's
get
just
there.
a proton pack.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. We do this one here. Whoa!
There it is.
Did not expect that to work.
Mr. Cena, if I may. Been a huge fan of yours ever since you started doing comedic roles. And the first episode of this, I said, you are a comedic actor, and you should stick to that because that's really where you excel. I ate my words this episode. I really think John Cena knocked this episode out of the park. I felt the emotions. His ability to actually cry and have me like feeling that, and then also get out his cell phone and take a selfie with Eagly, got me. This whole episode I thought was great. I think John Cena really, really, really did a great job. And yeah, man, I was shocked that they went here this early in this, that they had him kill his dad and do all that stuff. Very, very good. Very cool. I think this is the standout episode so far for me.
Wow. Kevin Coelho, what'd you think?
I feel like the storyline that we followed with this episode was the one I cared the least about. I really thought that it was kind of setting up for the next season. That being said, great. They nailed it. Like, all of it was good. It's starting... It was a little bit like I kind of we guessed it, right? Like that him and his brother had fought.
Yeah.
And he had passed away.
That was brutal too.
It was brutal as fuck. Yeah, that scene of him remembering it, intense, man, powerful. And then his dad hunting him. The raccoon was this episode, right?
Yeah. Yes. Raccoons are fucking metal as shit.
I mean,
fucking raccoons are hardcore, man. That went about the way I expected it to be an adult man wrestling a wild animal.
It's the cut though. It's you don't catch it at first. He has so many cuts out of his face.
Yeah, he's all scratched up, and it's just like
hardcore, man.
The comedy's so good. The comedy's excellent, and like I can't believe again another episode that still leaves me just utterly shocked in how much I'm enjoying this show. Like I feel like every week they push the bar of what I thought I could feel with this series. Like it is becoming one of my favorite seasons of TV. Period.
Me too.
Great.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, I talked about this last week, how I think crazy it is to sit here and be like, Peacemaker is the best thing that's happened in DCEU, right? And that was last week's, realization of like how we've enjoyed it, but actually sit there and be like, this is the best thing that's happened so far. And to have that double down this week. And I think both in terms of performances in the way they've stitched it together with narrative threads and musical cues and just the overall package. The fact that, like this episode made me tear up twice and cry once. Like, like one went the full thing of like, holy shit. Like what, like in like, again, we're talking about, John Cena in a comedic series, but he's able to turn that corner and do that. And I think, dovetailing it with the piano version of Home Sweet Home, but open with the real version of it this time around. Right. Like, I think we all love that credit sequence. It's the, overused joke on Twitter. Whenever we talk about the show, though, I never skip the credits. And it's true. You never do because they're so good. And like, this is the first time where it was so jarring to have it go from his flashback meltdown. His brother dies. He comes back and he's sobbing in the bathroom. And then have vigilantes like knocking on the door. And then like him just quietly crying. And then have it, do you really want to do it? And it's like on purpose, obviously designed it. Be like, holy shit. Like this is the first time the intros put me on my back heels this way. Like it's a fantastic episode for a fantastic show. And I mean, holy shit, if they can stick the landing next week.
Yeah,
Tim, what did you think?
That's where I'm at, man. Like it's theirs to lose at this point of being like one of truly the greatest of all times with next episode, like to wrap it all up. And I have no reason to think they're not going to. And like, that's the most exciting thing for me about the show so far has been, I keep saying like every element that James Gunn is good at is on full display here and are all working in a cohesive blend of just kind of just TV movie magic where we care so much that when we see these two kids in the beginning, like all of our hearts sink. The amount my heart has sank watching Peacemaker, the show, is just crazy. Like that the feeling of when Adebayo put the diary, the journal, like in his house like a couple weeks ago, like that was such a like gut punch, like, oh no. And because of the way they've been setting up and teasing the brother storyline, like the moment we saw them, it's like, oh man, they're gonna just brutally destroy our hearts. And they did. Like the setup of just showing these brothers and like immediately you're like, yeah, they're fucking brothers. The casting of young John Cena was spot on, incredible. I was so impressed with that kid. But even just the jokes the kids have felt right. They felt like that's a bitch ass song, but it's like fuck white power. It's the devil. Like that shit's just so awesome. But then like Greg was saying how jarring it is to go from one of the most brutal death scenes of this small child to that theme song, even the transition into it from these kids just getting along and loving each other with this fucked up dad was also jarring. And it's just such a swing of emotions where one moment you're just devastated, the next moment you're cracking up, and then it just keeps kind of swinging back and forth. I really like that this show reminds me of what happened with phase 1 of the MCU, where they didn't have Spider-Man, they didn't have the X-Men, they didn't have the Fantastic Four to play with. So they had to go to lesser known things, which kind of just changed the whole game for them. And it forced them to be a little bit more creative. And then the plan was, let's get to the Avengers. That's the goal. But what I like about this is they don't need to have the plan to get anywhere. The show can just be its own thing. I love that the dad gets killed in this episode. I love that the dad wears the outfit and fucks things up. Like, it's not teasing what's gonna come. We're not watching this week to week. Like, I hope this person shows up. I hope that person shows up. What if they did? It's like, it's none of that. We just are invested in the story they're telling. And not that I'm against any of that stuff. I live for that stuff. I love that stuff. That's why I'm still watching Book of Boba Fett. That's why I watch all the MCU shows. And like week to week, I'm like, what the hell? Who's gonna be next? You know, but with this, it's not about who's next. It's what's going to happen to these people I care about. And them revealing the cow, I love that. Like, it's like, cool. It is just this big monster thing, and they're going to deal with it by the end of next episode. Like, I don't get the feeling that we need to hold on for teases for a season 2. It's like, this is a story, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though, of course, if they leave some cliffhanger. Of course, you always do that as a writer. You leave yourself a little string to build upon next season if there is one. But I'll disagree with you in a little bit. I think they've already stuck the landing. I think that the next episode is just going to be some resolution. We get the resolution with whatever's happening with the butterflies, and really the only resolution we need is between Peacemaker and
Adebayo.
Yeah, thank you, Adebayo. So because those are the two characters that we really care about, which I think is so fun and artfully done that she was the first person he really bonded with, and of course that's why it cuts the deepest. But I think they'll stick that. I think that's a pretty easy resolution, and I think that the next episode is going to be kind of on cruise control, right? It's going to be some fun action sequences, and we'll see what happens. Maybe a twist here and there. I will say my one criticism of this one is I wish that Myrn had gone out a little bit more spectacularly. I think that they kind of like it just to begin the episode with that and have him die in like a Best Western. I was like, oh, okay, we could have done something else. Also, just FYI, guys, if an alien race of butterflies knows where we are, please don't pack. Just leave. Just leave where you're at.
You're getting new stuff.
Meet me, Kevin. Meet me at the place we talk about. Starbucks. It's Starbucks.
Yeah.
Myrn dying and then being followed up with Goff dying, with the butterfly itself dying. Like, just the power of James Gunn, just again, comedy and drama in one scene that we care about this fucking weird bug thing.
It's insane. It's insane that when like he gets crushed, I'm like, oh shit, not Myrn.
And then we get his death scene, right? Of when they come in and they hold him. Like, that was so good.
Wait, Goff didn't die. It was Myrn's butterfly that died.
Yeah. No, Goff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You're right. But we're all on the same page. Sorry.
Yeah, the butterfly itself. So fucking funny. But yeah.
Why would you come out, though? That was my thing.
Oh,
like, your host body's dead. All right. And they don't know it's you. So just hang out in there. Come out and then take over another body and help everybody out.
Maybe they can't. Maybe the second the host body's dead, they got to get out of there.
Yeah.
He
got to come and just hit a little bit.
Just poke his head out like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a little
suck through the nose. Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah, that the fist pump, like the grabbing when it was in his death throes, that got me too, for sure. And then, but of course, you know, it's the classic leader's dead. We need a new leader to rise, and we get that great scene where they're like, where Harcourt's like, what are we gonna do? We don't have a leader, and everyone's like, we do have a leader. And even Peacemaker himself is like, gives her the go ahead. I thought that was a good gel moment.
It was so great. And again, it's just earned for these characters that going into the show. Like, we don't care about Peacemaker. We definitely don't care about the rest of the squad. And like, I feel like they had really fulfilling kind of closings or like setups for these characters where, her being a leader makes sense. And I feel like it was a bold choice for them to have that scene and set her up that way, but it just makes so much sense. Like, I just love that in a show called Peacemaker that has John Cena, they don't need to just rely on that, because they know that he doesn't need to be the lead for it to work and be funny and to have impact. Like, especially when you have people like Vigilante, who continues to just make me laugh with everything he does. Nick, tell me your emotions when it was revealed that his pants were all the way down.
God, so many, just a range of emotions. Just one of the funniest things I've seen in this series to date. And I just for a number of reasons, but goddamn, that was funny. He's like, "Why are your pants all the way down? I can't pee if I feel cloth against my butt cheeks." Jesus Christ! Oh my god, that beat was great. The beat where he just passes out in the car and just slowly rolls out of the side. Phenomenal. A couple moments with him during this that I felt didn't work comedically. Like I felt like the part with the callback to the face exercises and stuff like that. I was like, that's not great. That's typical James Gunn, where it's like that's the one joke that I wish they'd have backed up on a little bit. But the character is great comedic relief, and super good. I did want to go back to the hardcore character real quick though. I love the payoff of her sort of character arc, assuming the leadership. So we got, I think it was in episode 1 where she fights the guys in the bars, and you're like, oh, she can handle herself, right? And this one, she fights Judo Master, and you're like, oh, she's kicking his ass. But no, he gets the better of her.
Yeah.
But it's
Judo
a red
Master.
herring, right? She's like, I think she said something like tag team or whatever the
Rope-a-dope.
rope-a-dope, yeah, whatever the parlance was. And of course, because she's thinking ahead, she knows she's got a second player on the field. She knows what's going on, and Adebayo comes to the rescue and just tases the shit out of. Now, I'm
Awesome.
still holding out for Judo Master to like come around and be a
Join
good
the
guy.
team.
I want Judo Master on the team for
He's
season 2 so badly.
There's something about that actor that just nails. Like, he's cool. Like, every time he flicks something at someone, or just like as he's beating the shit out of him, is just a little. He does little things that are just like, you're fucking dope.
Just
I loved it
love
when he
him.
beat the shit out of those guys outside the mini mart, and the clerk
Yeah.
just gives him the thumbs up
Just
through
fuck
the
these
glass.
guys.
And he's
That's
like, yeah.
awesome.
And then also the same thing of like, we had been talking a little bit about that of like, wait, where is Judo Master? What's going on with him? And there's that thing, we gotta get out of here. What about Judo Master? Judo Master's still here? Too bad.
like, fuck,
He's
we
not
can't
here.
do
We gotta
that.
go.
Yeah. That was
I also
great.
love the James Gunn, like, fuck it. We have the DC universe. Let's just go crazy. Whatever I want to happen is going to happen. And the rules aren't just references to obscure characters. He's also like, this is the DC universe. So the superpowers and weird things happen. Guess what? This guy flies. Fuck it. How are they going to move the thing? Teleportation. Like, it's so stupid, but it's just like they play it so seriously where it's like, yeah, that could happen in this universe. So why wouldn't
Aliens,
that be
man.
the
Yeah,
way
why
that they
wouldn't
do it?
It's wild that he has as much freedom as he's been having. Because, like, he does the weekly, like, hey, this is the thing that I introduced into the DC
Canon.
EU canon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice what it was for this episode. Usually it's pretty out there. But it's just like, it's one of those things that, like, man, things sure do work out where it's like DCEU just being absolute trash makes it so he's got all the freedom that he wants. Maybe it was all worth it, guys.
Maybe, and we'll see if they can build off of that, right? I mean, he's got access to all these. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, and Greg, this is going to come as a shock to you. Shock. Before the reboot or whatever this last one was, like a sequel of Suicide Squad, I did not know who Peacemaker was. I know.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Shocking.
I
But there
don't
is
think
such
anyone did.
No, I don't think they did either. But there's such a wonderful freedom in that, and such a wonderful creative opportunity that obviously James Gunn is completely taken advantage of. And I look forward to seeing what weird shit comes out of his brain next.
Yeah,
don't know.
absolutely. But before we move on, let me tell you about our sponsors. Shout out to Chime for sponsoring this episode. New year, new you. Maybe a you who leaves behind things that don't serve you, like those dang overdraft fees. When your checking account balance is running low, the last thing you need is an overdraft fee. But with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, you can save that hard-earned cash money without paying overdraft fees. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no overdraft fees. Make your first good decision in 2022 and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up only takes 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. You can get started at chime.com/kfgames. That's chime.com/kfgames. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. See chime.com/spotme and go to chime.com/kfgames to get started. This episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Look, I get it. You don't watch porn, so maybe you're just paying attention to this ad for, a friend. But with everything going on in the world, governments have increased surveillance. They're using your devices to track your location movements and in a lot of places, your internet activity. ExpressVPN reroutes your internet connection through a secure encrypted server so you can surf the web anonymously. Newsflash, incognito mode is a sham. Your ISP can still see every single site you visit. But with one click of a button, ExpressVPN keeps others from seeing all the freaky stuff you've been looking at. Yeah, talking about you, Nick Scarpino. We've been using ExpressVPN for a long time. It's been keeping me safe, keeping me secure. I just feel better being out on the internet, knowing that ExpressVPN has my back. Protect your privacy today and get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Visit expressvpn.com/kindafunny. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny for 3 months free with a 1-year package. Visit expressvpn.com/kindafunny to learn more.
That was a good point to transition. I like that.
That's great.
Another thing with Vigilante that I really like was the whole Butch Cassidy freeze frame thing, where he's like,
like,
I don't
you
know,
know.
guys. I think that
This
they
is a
got
really
through
optimistic,
it. Like,
really
it's
optimistic
so funny.
interpretation of that. No, yeah, that character I think is just it is so perfectly played by that actor. You got to just appreciate the heck out of that for sure.
Yeah,
So
the slow kind of drive that you were talking about, I was like worried about it because I was like, are they gonna kill him? Like there was multiple moments in this episode where I was like, please don't kill Vigilante, and then definitely don't kill Eagly. And like the
Oh
way
my
they
God.
treated Eagly in this episode was great. Like even with the voicemail of like, if you got a message for Chris or Eagly, leave it at the tone. Like that's great. But yeah, the first off, Eagly on his deathbed was so sad. Then
Heartbreaking.
him being alive and hugging Cena and like all of that stuff. And like the fact that the Eagle hug is used as a story beat for Adebayo is just brilliant.
Yeah.
That to me is a perfect example of why the show works, is that it's all the elements coming together at once. And it's not just to make us laugh or just to make us feel, but it's like this is a living, breathing world that they're playing with.
that was such a great and ridiculously deep moment for this episode.
It's insane.
Because she sees him, she remembers the conversation they had back in the first episode where she's like, Eagles can't do that. They're not going to do that. And he goes, you know, she just doesn't believe that any of this stuff is possible or that change is possible, things like that. And then realizes that like in that moment, so much is different in her life, and that she's grown and that she's a part of this team and that she was wrong for doing what she wants to do. And she's all that stuff. And then you get the beat of him hugging him and him taking it out and finally getting his picture on the phone. Just a range of emotions there. Very, very well done. And again, how do they nail the CGI with this damn
It's
bird?
really
Even on the
good,
close-ups. It's very, very well done.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to
the Eagly when they were in the car, listen to whatever song, and the Eagly's dancing with them, like when they were on their. Sorry, Nick, back to you.
Oh, I was gonna say a couple other Eagly moments that when Diebeard's getting in the car and he's
just backing them over and over again.
That's that was incredible. But then obviously, like I want to talk about the dad, and I didn't love some of this stuff, and I think largely is because I found the helmet just a skosh distracting. There's a minor criticism with the whole episode. Is I'm like, I wish
the
they
white
had done just
dragon
a
helmet?
little bit more with the white dragon helmet. Yeah, it kind of just was. It didn't work so much for me, but obviously, like we've talked about this before. What
he's a white
if
supremacist superhero, right?
Yeah,
villain,
but I just feel like I don't know. I just felt like that costume could have been a little bit better as far as production value is concerned. But obviously, that's like what few things like that are in this. Obviously, doesn't matter because the story and the characters are so compelling. But I thought the whole action sequence was good, and him throwing the grenade, and then I was like, is he dead? What's going on? He got blown up.
Yeah, to rewind it a bit, I thought the action was really good with the White Dragon. I really liked how he looked in the air, and I liked how he swooped in and just fucking plowed into the side of the car where the Eagly was dancing or whatever. Like, I thought that was really well done, looked good, and I liked then the stuff that comes from that. Yeah, there's always a good time to rock and all that shit, and then Diebeard getting up and shooting everybody up and stuff is good.
That was the whole thing, yeah. And then of course the call back to the what we talked about, where she's like, I told you, there's gaps in the armor. Every time he comes in and does that. Did you guys think that he was going to pull the trigger? Kill his dad?
I hoped he would, and I'm glad he did. I thought maybe Vigilante would or somebody else from the sidelines would, but I was happy he did. But it did totally. That's the first part where I teared up. Yeah. Where when he does it and then he mourns his father there and stuff. I thought it was like, again, back to the chops on John Cena. Yeah. It's just like it was all so well done and so well acted that I really felt for him there in that conflict.
Whenever you're ready, Greg, you can apologize. You can apologize to Mr.
I didn't know. I didn't believe in it. I didn't hate him the way you did.
There's no hate. I just want to, Mr. Cena.
Now there isn't.
No hate.
There was originally a lot of jealousy. A lot of jealousy.
No, a lot of jealousy. Yeah, I think you're mistaking this with my opinions on
Andy Serkis.
What? No, we're not naming names. Next week starts. Does that start in review for Planet
this
of the
week?
Apes?
This week, Planet of the Apes.
Make sure you tune in to watch my Andy Serkis impression of the first few Planet of the Apes because it is, as Greg would say, chef's kiss.
I would say that.
He would say.
I do say that.
Nick, can you show me him walking? There it is.
God, he just gets into character. I hate it so much. One other thing about the pacing and writing of this show is how much most episodes like have a cliffhanger that isn't like the again, it's not the who's showing up next week type cliffhanger. It's more of like, I didn't see that coming. How are they going to deal with it? And you think about it, and I feel like every single time the next episode immediately answers the question with the most obvious thing. And I like that even this one did of the, of course I knew. You think I would do a background check on you with Amanda Waller being her father? It's like that, or mother. That reminded me of earlier when Mern's reveal. It's like, oh shit, he's a butterfly. And it's like, oh wait, they already knew.
Everybody knew. Yeah.
I like that stuff because it feels like it's not twists for the viewer's sake. It kind of feels like in the world that makes sense with where they're at, and we get to have the fun surprises and stuff. And like it there's the plot progression as opposed to just this is serialized TV that we're watching.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys think it was? What do you think will come, if anything, of that moment where Goff kills Mern and then Lachlan looks over and says, "You killed him"? Like in that weird thing, like are they not supposed to kill each other?
Well,
like,
I took it as like there's very few of them in their species, and they weren't at the point where they were killing each other, because like there's these two factions in these butterfly worlds where one of them wants to be peaceful, the other one's like, let's take over. So I
laughed at that in these butterfly worlds.
So I think that it is the like, oh, okay, the lines are actually being drawn.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's how I got it too. I was like, I felt like I thought that was a good performance by Larry Fitzgibbon. Oh, no, Lachlan Rose, the name of the character actor. Excuse me. I thought it was a great point. Where it was like, wait, are we doing this now? We're killing our own species. Like we weren't supposed to be able to do this. And I think I wonder if that's going to come back in the next episode to some degree.
Yeah.
Any
closing words?
That'd be interesting.
Quick thing. So we didn't go over it too much, but the plan with the diary was to make it look like Peacemaker was just totally insane.
Yeah, and kill everyone. Like a lone gunman kind of.
Yeah. So the plan was,
plan.
use him and dump him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Turn him and burn him, as Amanda Waller would say.
Do we think that it's going to go that route still, or do you guys?
No. I think they'll end with these not being scot-free, but like people knowing that they did a good thing.
Do you think we see Waller in the next episode?
Probably a similar thing though, of like it'll be What You Hate, where like the news is reporting that like Peacemaker actually saved us from these things, and she's like, ugh, in her like office wherever in DC.
It'll be either that or it'll just be on a screen somewhere. It's like
you guys don't think
Amanda Waller's mad?
You guys don't think we get like a very serious moment where John Cena takes the rap for everything, goes to jail, and it ends with Waller coming out being like, "You're back in the Suicide Squad," essentially?
That's definitely possible too.
Maybe. Do you think you get a comedic beat if that happens of who takes care of Eagly? Because he has that rant where he's like, "Was it bad for
Eagly?"
Right, it'll be her and
exactly.
Their dogs. That'll be the thing going on there. Yeah. I want to give a shout out. We haven't, you're talking about closing thoughts or whatever. The things we didn't get to talk about yet were the nurses in the animal clinic. I thought that entire bit was so good, and then like well, all right, cool, but we won't use duct tape because you're compassionate about tape, but not about brutally murdering them. Yeah. And then at the end, we're like, all right, everybody ready? She's like, yeah. She's got a gun. They're like, you're not coming with us.
You're just gonna die after. That was really good. And then winning them over against these aliens is just, it's great.
Oh, and then the post credits was funny as hell too.
Yeah. Oh, damn, I didn't watch it this time. I forgot.
Yeah, it's weird because like it's what I always want to see of like the stuff when you see somebody like obviously talking on the TV, like, hey, turn that up or whatever. Like, what were they saying before then or after that? Or it's just like they let you improv. And what I love about it is like they're all supposed to be the butterflies, but there's the one guard on the left, or I guess right side of your screen, who's clearly cracking, and he's just covering his face the entire time. He's like
laughing because the guy's
swivel your hips. Take extra time here in the midsection, then move up to your head.
It was very weird.
Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this episode, and next week, we're coming back for the finale of Peacemaker. We got a whole bunch of cool screencasts coming as well. There's things live now. Our Jackass Forever review's up. Our Uncharted screencast review is going to be coming out in a couple weeks, whenever the hell that movie comes out. Until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.